Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for this conversation on mental wellness. Because wellness isn't just about how we care for our bodies, it's about how we care for our hearts, our minds, and our sense of self. So today's conversation is especially meaningful. My guest is someone who understands what it feels like to be strong on the outside while struggling to be seen, heard, or valued on the inside. She is a coach, an advocate, and a woman who has walked through difficult seasons and emerged with clarity, purpose, and a deep commitment to helping other women do the same. My special guest is Michelle Primeaux, who works with women who have experienced unhealthy relationships, emotional exhaustion, and moments of feeling underappreciated. Women who know they are meant for more, even if they're not quite sure how to reach it yet. Her insight doesn't come from theory alone, but from lived experience, from growth, and from resilience. So, Michelle, I want to thank you for being here with us today. You know, I'm glad. I'm glad to have you here today. So, welcome.
Thank you so much, Deneen. It is truly an honor to spend this time with you. And I thank you. I consider it a privilege to be here today. Thank you.
So, Michelle, I've known you for years, and I just love you. I love your heart. I love your heart for the people. But we just wanted you to come on and kind of share some things with us. And one of the questions I want to ask you is, when people first meet you today, what do you hope they feel about you? Like even before they even know your story, what do you hope they feel about you?
Wow. I have never been asked that question before. Wow. What I would hope people would feel about me is um, that they would feel comfortable around me, that they would experience my kindness and my authenticity just by my expression of interest in them.
So you lived through some experiences where, how can I say this, your voice and your worth were minimized. What did that do to the way you saw yourself at the time?
You know, I would I really didn't see myself as a person of value or really a person that had anything to contribute. Um, and a lot of it had to do with how I saw myself and how others had treated me. But what was realized later in life is how people treated me. For me, it validated what I had already believed in my heart about myself. So if
Mm,
someone said something negative about me, I had already believed it anyway.
mhm,
And because I struggled with wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved, wanting to be chosen, if someone says something to validate why they didn't choose me, then if I didn't think that way, now I'm believing that. For
mm,
example, because of my past, as far back as I could remember, I had low self-esteem, as they say low self-esteem. I
mhm,
really didn't think highly of myself, and in fact, I really hated myself as a
mhm,
young girl, and people didn't know that. I felt unloved. I felt like the black sheep of the family, and in school being teased, and from my complexion to my body shape to my inability to speak without a lisp. so I,
mm.
I had a so I had my buck teeth, and then in school, I had to go to take classes for reading comprehension, all those kinds of things. So just imagine years of that. And
Built
then
up.
as I got older, I started making bad choices, and choices because I was searching. I was always looking and longing. So I ended up a teenage mother. I ended up making all kinds of choices that only made me feel worse about myself. And years went by, and I'm consistently looking for people to see something in me that I didn't even see. So
Mhm.
everything that was happening, all of the things that I thought about myself, I believed it because I kept making these choices. Even though I showed up, even though I was thriving, like I was growing and
Mhm.
doing better in life, there was still internal
Mhm.
brokenness that kept me in a place where I was in like this mental bondage. I was just in this prison.
You talk about when these things were planted at a young age, and a lot of times we don't even realize how far back that those things were planted in our lives. Because I think about when I, like you said, when I was in school. So let's start at home first. Our house was filled with children, and I was picked on a lot. But siblings, that's what we do. We pick on each other, we fight, we fuss, yada yada. We love each other. But also when you go to school and you're constantly picked on and you're constantly teased. And, you know, me growing up, I was teased a lot because I had to wear skirts all the time because of, what my family's belief was. So I was teased about that. And then, you talked about your skin color. I was teased about my skin color. Colorism in our community was just as bad. So I was teased about my skin color. So with all of that built up in me, that was the reason, because I tell people all the time that I just want to stay in the background because I don't want to be teased. I don't want nobody seeing me. Let me be invisible. I want to do, like people say, how do you do those plays? How do you get up there and sing? And if people ever notice, I close my eyes because it almost helps me say, okay, they can't see me. So let me close my eyes because they can't see me. I don't want nobody to see me. And so you think back how far those things were planted in you in your life, and as you mature and grow and different avenues come or different things come where you are able to talk about it with someone, then you're able to recognize and realize what happened and why you were the way you was there a moment, um, big or small, when you realize this isn't the life I'm meant to live for, this isn't the my life, isn't the life I'm meant to live?
Yeah, Denny and I had gotten to such a breaking point in life. Now, at this point, I was in my 30s, and at this point now, there was rejection after rejection. I was married, had gone through a divorce. Now I have two children. I'm a single mother, and I'm at this place where I feel like, okay, what is my purpose? Why was I even created? Why did I have to experience the things that I had to experience? Like, why am I even here? So it was a very low place. It wasn't until later I realized I was suffering with depression. I had anxiety. I was dealing with a deep darkness within my soul. And I used to write all the time. And I even threw away some of my journals because that's how dark they were. And
Wow.
it was one day that it was a breaking point for me. And that's when I just wrote a letter like, this is it. My life is over. And I went to take one last look at myself. This is the day. My children are better off without me. You know, I'm just not, I can't do this anymore. And it's this crying out. It's this pain that is indescribable. It's this
Hmm.
hopelessness. It's the purposelessness. It's the feeling of helplessness.
Hmm.
And it's like no one sees me. No one understands me. But I never really expressed to anyone what I was going through. But this particular night, that was it for me. And I could remember going to take one last look at myself after my children were tucked in the bed. I wrote the letter and I made my bed. I made my bed up
Wow.
because I wanted everything neat. The house was clean, everything was neat. And that was it for me. And as I went to go to the bathroom, there was just this strong force within
Mhm.
me. And I can remember just falling down to the floor and screaming all of these disdains to
Wow.
God. And it was about midnight. And I'm crying out and I'm crying these disdains to God. And I'm on the floor and something just felt like a sheet came over me, just like
Mm.
a light sheet. And it was just in my conscience, in my spirit, like, Michelle, I love you and I'll never leave you.
Wow.
And there was just this presence within me, like a restoration of hope. And I could remember crying out, I want to live.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of
Mhm.
my new beginnings. And it
Mm.
was my faith that I ended up walking a life of hope. And
Mm.
there were so many different factors um, included in my transformational journey. But one thing I'll say is that I began to see the value in me. I began
Wow.
to see that I was valuable. I began to see that I had purpose. And things started, like doors were opening for me to talk to people. And I knew I
Mhm.
had a natural gift to help people, that they would leave my presence and they felt healed. They would leave my
Mhm.
presence and they felt better. Or they would be
Wow.
in my presence and they would tell me all of their business and they would start crying. And I knew that that was one of the reasons that I was created. And
Wow.
I understood that as I went through all of the things in life, none of that defined me. And it took time for me to get there, but
Mhm.
none of that defined me. And I realized that, when you make a decision and you blame yourself, but you don't know why you did it, that's
Mm.
torment too.
Mhm.
But when I
Mhm.
understood why I did every single thing that I did that was wrong, that was horrible, I understood why I did it. And that was freedom. And I was
Wow.
able to have the peace within my soul. And it was truly my faith in Jesus that helped me to understand that God Himself was not holding it against me. And when
Wow.
I understood what freedom I had in God really loving me despite everything I did, that was everything. And I feel like even to this day, the woman with the alabaster box in the Bible,
Mhm.
this woman who was called
Yes.
a sinner in John chapter 7, I mean, sorry, not John, Luke chapter 7. And that woman was considered a sinner. And when she walked in where Jesus was, she walked in the house where Jesus was, and the Pharisee there judged her and was like,
Mhm.
if he knew this manner of woman, pretty much because she had wept and she had wet his feet with her tears, and she just cried. And so he judged her, but he didn't say it aloud. But
Mhm.
Jesus heard him. And Jesus said to that woman, he said to him, but he was looking at the woman. And he said, do you see her? Do you see this woman? Those words right there, do you see this woman? Because he saw her as a sinner, but Jesus saw her as a woman
Yes.
who had come. She knew she was a sinner. She knew what she had done and she had repented. And Jesus said, one who has been forgiven much loves much.
Wow.
And he told that woman she was forgiven and to go in peace. And that woman is me. And
Yeah.
to today, I may not be the best. I am far from perfect, but what God has done in my life, I'm
Mhm.
I'm totally grateful.
Yes.
And I
Thank
tell
you.
them all the time, my life is dedicated to you. And
Yeah.
whatever you will have me to do, I'll do it. So that's my heart. And I love,
Wow.
love, love all that I do today.
We love, 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 love it too. What's so amazing is how God brings us out of things, but also how God keeps us during those times, because you would have never known all the times that I know you, I see you. a lot of things that you are sharing right now, you would have never known because of how you presented yourself in public. I mean, even through those things that you were going through, you didn't allow it to be displayed out in public. Your heart was still your heart. Your smile was still just as broad and beautiful because that still was the God in you. It still is the God in you. God was still covering you. He still was over your life. And God, like as Jeremiah 29 said, God knows the plans for you. So he already knew what the plans were. So even through when we go through things, even through all of that you went through, God still had you covered because he already knew what the outcome would be. And there are so many women that need what God has placed in your heart, placed in your life. I'm excited for you. So, Michelle, tell us about some of the transformations you've seen while speaking to other women.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love this. Um, I have seen women go from brokenness to wholeness. I've
Mm,
seen women grow in confidence where they didn't even think that their voice was valuable, that the things that they had to say mattered, that they had a testimony, that they had a story. I've seen women build relationships where they were alone, they felt alone, but because now a lot of times what we do is when we've gone through a lot of different things in life, whether it's trauma, different crises in life and certain circumstances, we can isolate, we can pull away.
yeah.
We oftentimes won't continue to go after the things that are desirable for us, dreams that we have. And so I find that a lot of the people that I've served, that they now see, they dream again, that
Mm,
there's this zest for life. And they were able to identify obstacles in their life and
wow.
learn how to manage the obstacles in their life
Hmm.
without breaking down, without shutting down,
Hmm.
without giving up. So I've seen relationships restored. I've seen confidence restored, dreams fulfilled. Um,
Hmm.
just people that would hide
Yeah.
now speaking up and helping others and coming back to me with tears in their eyes and
Wow.
saying, Michelle, you don't even know how much you saved me, you
Yeah.
helped me. Most importantly, even the spiritual growth, the personal growth and development. And one of the things that especially women that I work with, mostly women,
Hmm.
and the thing is that I firmly believe in a transformed life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I encourage people to know, that where you were, this does not have to be where you end up.
Hmm.
And where you are today is not your end. So, helping people to get to that place where they begin to see the healing and they begin to experience the inner transformation. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of times we want success. A lot of times we want the relationship. We want wealth. We want all of these things, but none of that means anything if we're not healed within. And
Hmm.
so that is my heart, is to help people to see and to be able to even identify what is going on within me, and to be able to see that there is a way of escape.
Hmm.
And most of the people that come to me, they believe what I believe. So they're coming to me like, listen, I know you're a minister. I know that you're a Christian coach. I know that you're all these things. And I want to grow spiritually. And I'm like, you are at the right place because you're spiritual. Like, you can have the physical,
Hmm.
uh, healing, you can have all these things, but your soul and spirit is so important, that peace. So I've just really been able to hear the stories. I love hearing stories. I
Hmm.
love hearing where people are and where they want to be. That brings me joy because I believe in them. And I hold people accountable. I tell people, don't let the smile fool you because I know it's going to take work. Don't let it fool you. But if
Yeah.
you want it, I'm with you. I'm with you, and I believe that you can make it. So it's been a joy to see people no longer feel depressed, no longer feel hopeless, but to begin to thrive.
Let's talk about well, let me say this. Me and you, we did it. We were both on a panel last year. And you already know my situation. We talk often. And you knew that I was a nervous wreck. But because you were up there with me, you have no idea how much that helped me and encouraged me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. You're just simply amazing. But
Oh,
let's talk about your book. And I meant to have it out, The High Powered Woman. My. What an awesome book. How did you decide that you were going to even be an author?
well, the whole author thing, that started in 2012. And I heard the Lord say, like I heard in my spirit,
Mhm,
you're a writer. But I didn't know that I would write books. And
mhm,
I had been journaling since I was 12 years old. And I was working out, even before I was working out, I want to say maybe 3 years later, I started writing a
mhm,
book. I just started writing a book and I was just going to tell my story.
mhm.
And it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel organic.
Okay.
And I was just trying to push myself to do it because I had the desire, but I realized it wasn't time. And during COVID in 2020, I realized one of two deep rooted issues within me that was revealed. And so much, not only was that revealed, but I had a health scare. A lot of things was going on. My family had a tragedy during that time. There was a lot of transitions in our
Mhm,
life. And it was 2021, February of 2021, I was working out. And while I was working out, the guy said on the screen, this is a low impact workout with a high powered impact.
uh-huh.
And immediately all I heard was the high powered woman. I stopped the video on YouTube and told my husband, please write this down. And he pulled out his phone and everything was downloading. Like it was
Wow.
downloading the chapters, the everything, like the purpose of the book. And I could still, it feels like I'm still in that moment every time I talk about it.
Wow. Mhm.
And my mother says something to me. She said, Michelle, when I read the book, I felt like God took his pen and wrote on your heart.
Wow. Wow.
And I started writing that February. That day, I just started writing. I found a woman who I saw on a podcast that she helps with publishing, and
Mhm,
she had a self publishing company, and she will also coach you through your writing.
mhm.
Well, I waited until I had the introduction and the first chapter done, and I reached out to her. She said, well, can you email me the introduction and the first chapter? I emailed her. She responded less than a week, and she
Wow.
said, I want to work with you. She said, and really, you have a few word echoes, but you're a natural writer. And she
Wow.
told me, she said, I see women sitting at the coffee shop talking about your book. She said, you took me back to when I was a young girl, how I felt about myself. And she just started going on and on. And she didn't know while we were on the phone, I was just crying.
Wow.
And I kept writing. And the book, and I tell people I'm not saying it to sell it or,
Mhm,
because I wrote it, I know that it was God. And
mhm,
just the emails, I've saved the emails that people have privately sent to me
mhm. Wow.
of the impact this book has had on their life. And I'm not going to cry, but
Don't. Please don't.
it was my experience,
Mhm,
my journey but then he used it for coaching and
Mhm.
inspiration and, you know, so many ways that women can grow and experience healing and wholeness. And I love it because it's for all women. And even
Yeah.
my husband, when he read it, he
Mm.
was like, Michelle, this is for men too. And
Wow.
so I thank God. But the book has inspired women in purpose, in their
Mhm.
faith,
Mhm.
um, in restoration.
Mm.
Restoration. I talk about that restoration and success,
Mm.
success, understanding the confident woman. Women struggle with our identity and comparison and all of the things, wearing the mask. And I address a lot of those issues. And I talk about the kingdom woman, what she looks,
Mhm.
authenticity,
We talked
and
about that.
it's really been a blessing. And I thank God for the High Powered Woman book. And it was a title that women were coming to me saying, Michelle, I don't feel like a high powered woman. And I
Mhm.
said, read the book because it's not about a feeling. It
Mhm.
is about who you are. You know, outside of God and knowing who I am in Him, I'm a scared little girl.
Mm.
I would not do the
Yeah.
things doing today.
Yeah.
I would not be able to walk in the boldness that I walk in. And even before I come to the
Yeah.
mic,
Yeah.
before I approach someone on the street, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But when I walk in it, it's like I'm just the Holy Spirit just works through me.
Yeah.
And I just everything that's in me, there's so much in me, it's just poured out on whoever is present with a listening
Mhm.
ear and a heart. And then at the same time, I receive from people. I'm not just preaching at people or
Mhm.
speaking at people. I'm really in relationship with them in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's what's blessed me because I've met people from all over and I've learned from them. I've learned
Mhm.
from my clients. I've learned from my friends, from my children. And I'm a better person because of people.
Yeah.
People are amazing. They really are. And
Yeah.
I really do love people.
Now, we spoke a few moments yesterday about authenticity and the impact of authenticity. How important is authenticity to you?
It's freedom.
Mm.
It's freedom, Deneen. It's
Yeah.
freedom. Do you know I'm still growing in authenticity?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you are growing up, you're shaped by your environment,
Mhm.
you're shaped by your experiences. And I really didn't know who I was. And
Mhm.
I didn't know my voice. You know, I couldn't find my voice. And I realized my voice was really who I accepted within.
Mhm.
Everything that I am. I'm funny. I'm a professional.
Mhm.
You know, I can be moody at
Mhm.
times. You know, I listen, I don't take no stuff. I don't play. And I can do it with a smile. I can tell you, you
Absolutely.
know, we're not doing this today. And it'll be with a smile, just as I'm talking right now. So I realized that there were many facets. I was trying to
Yes.
be one thing, but there's so much more to me. There's
Yes.
so much. And when I
Yes.
started to embrace all of who I am, and
Mhm.
this is what's amazing, all of who I am becoming,
Yes.
it's incredible. So I was just talking to the Lord today. I said, God, I'm excited about where you are leading me and how I'm growing. Where will I be in
Yeah.
5 years? And I said this when I was 40 years old. I told my husband, where will we be in five
Mm.
years? And then when I turned 45, I said, oh my goodness, where will I be in five
Yeah.
years? And now I look and I'm like, oh my God, I look
Wow.
back,
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
me that
God
there
is
is not a God and he is
yes.
not real.
Something
And
else.
so that authenticity means a lot because
Yeah.
when I show up, when I'm talking to people, I don't want to be a people pleaser, which I battle with and
Yes.
still battle with, a
Mhm.
perfectionist, which I still battle with. I tell people I have to slay her every day. I got to slay homegirl because I'm not perfect and I
Right.
have to just deal with that. And, but to really be me and to
Mhm.
be okay with where I'm from, the
Mhm.
choices that I've made, what I've overcome in life. And
Yeah.
that helps me to be transparent. It helps me to be vulnerable. And it also keeps me centered and
Yes.
humbled. And it helps me to be a better leader, a better daughter, a better sister, a better
Yeah.
friend, and a better servant.
And being authentic helps you to reach people even more
Yes,
because
yes,
that's what people are searching for, authentic
yeah,
people.
yeah.
So let me ask you this last question. If a woman watching this interview feels seen for the first time, the
Mhm.
very first time, what do you want her to know about her future? Yeah.
Sister, if you are seen, oh my goodness, if you feel seen right now,
Mm,
I encourage you to write a list, write down what it is that what makes you valuable.
mm,
I would say write that down. What makes you valuable? And then look in the mirror and say that back to yourself. Look yourself in the eyeball, in the eyeball,
yeah.
and say that to yourself. And then live it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know, we don't have all the answers. I can't tell you what the first step for you, what your step will look like. But when you start with believing what you've seen and you receive that, when you know that you are loved and you
Yeah.
are lovable, then it will open your heart to receive love and to love. And
Yes.
with that, that knowing that no one here is perfect in this world
Mhm.
and no one is better than the other. Society makes us feel like sometimes we have to look like this person or we have to do it this way. And when you realize that God made us all different and we're going to be different for different people.
Mhm.
And so be you, learn who you are, take those steps to discover who you are and begin to walk in that freedom every day. What does that look like for you? I
Yeah.
can't tell you that, but what does that look like for you? And walk it out. And
Yeah.
you'll see, you'll look back a year from now and say, I kept going forward.
Yeah.
Get the help you need.
Mhm.
I surrounded myself around, I had friends that were counselors. I surrounded myself around strong women of faith. I surrounded myself around women who were successful in their own right.
Mhm.
And I was very honest about where I was. And
Mhm.
these women didn't play. They were very serious in helping me to get to where I am today. So
Yeah.
surround yourself around real people who want the
Mhm.
best for you and
Yeah.
know that you are not alone and
Yeah.
that there are so many people. The Lord told me this one day, Michelle, there are more people for you than against you.
Mhm. Yes. I'm just so and now I'm trying not to cry, but um I'm just so glad that you came on today. And I just wanted to share maybe 5, 6 years ago, everyone, I reached out to Michelle and I told her what my plan was. I told her what God had laid on my heart to do, because this is when I think the podcast really started coming out. And they're just, I wanted to share stories, shares people's stories and journeys. And it was, I can't even remember the title, but it was something about your journey. This is my journey. And Michelle was the first person I reached out to, the first person I interviewed. But and I still have those clippings, and it was amazing. But even in that time, during that, it never came to fruition because I got scared. I got nervous and I thought that I could not do it. And so I didn't do it. So, but now, you know, every time I see Michelle, she's just so encouraging. And to be sitting here interviewing her, um, is such a blessing to me. She's always encouraged me. She's always uplifting, and she's so genuine and sincere. And I just love her, and I'm so glad we had her on here. And I know we got to end this, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. So tell Michelle, tell our audience how they can reach out to you, whether it be on social media or what have you, how they can purchase your book, so on and so forth.
Wow, I just want to say first, Deneen, thank you so much for having me. You are doing an amazing work. I still look up to you, that young
Mm,
girl that I was. I really look up to you. I admire you. You are so real, so authentic, and you touch so many lives. It's just a natural gift in you. So I just want to say thank you
oh,
for this time with you.
mhm.
And I know that it's only higher from here because
Yeah.
you and Ed are doing phenomenal work. Good,
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean, good work. So thank you. And for everyone else, I just want to say thank you for watching. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and under my name is Michelle Primeaux. My website is www.michelleLprimeaux.com. And I would love to hear from you. The book is called The High Powered Woman, and you can find the book on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, and Goodreads, I believe it is, and a few other places you can find the High Powered Woman book. It's in hardback and softback.
So Michelle, thank you for your honesty, your strength, and your willingness to share, not just what you survived, but what you've learned. Your voice is a reminder that healing is possible, growth is real, and no one has to remain stuck in a story that no longer serves them. If something in today's conversation resonated with you, let it be a reminder that your feelings matter, your well being matters, and support is definitely available. You are worth you are worthy of peace, clarity, and a life that feels whole. So I want to thank you for spending this time with us. And until the next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.